Another Gran Turismo World Tour event is in the books, and this one had a bit of everything. Both the Manufacturers Series and the Nations Cup had really close finishes that resulted in controversial decisions from both the drivers and the stewards. Everyone has their own opinion about how things went down, but I wanted to talk to the drivers themselves. Over the next few minutes, you'll hear their side of the story and find out what it was like to be behind the wheel during some of the most dramatic moments of this latest World Tour event. First up, we'll take a look at the Manufacturers Series. Heading into this round of the World Tour, Toyota was a clear favorite, but during the opening races of the Manufacturers Series, they didn't do too well. When it was time for the final race at the Nurburgring GP circuit, pretty much everyone had forgotten about Toyota. They were basically out of contention in terms of the points, and they were starting far back on the grid. The odds were stacked against them, which made the result even more impressive. I spoke with Toyota driver Simon Bishop to find out more about what the race was like for his team.
Starting fifth when you're up against it, particularly as our car is no good on the GP circuit. And the GP circuit is pretty much all your opportunities to pass on that track until you get to the end. But Yamanaka-san was just in the zone. Obviously, the way that the results were from that Monza race really shook up the grid. And Lexus, who dominated the entire race weekend up until that point, had ended up at the back. And then these cars that obviously had thought that they were going to be starting near the back were starting at the front. And so we had the soft tyre advantage over a lot of people, which we didn't really anticipate was going to happen. But Yamanaka drove like a man possessed, like I said. And the way that he was able to save fuel while also maintaining the speed, which saved us time in the pit stops, was pretty amazing. And the way that he drove was awesome. And then when Rick got in the car, considering he's 18 years old and he's at his first event and the wheel was completely foreign to him, and he's about a foot taller than all of us, so we had to adjust the seat every pit stop. It was just amazing, and the way that he went around the outside of the Aston down the straight, it was crucial because it gave him the medium tyre advantage for the two laps that we needed. And when you couple that with what happened to Mercedes, because they obviously had that unfortunate incident during their second stint, I believe, and then Cody was held up behind the Porsche, it all just kind of fell into place.
It was starting to fall in place, but it wasn't over yet. Cody Lukovsky was in the Mercedes on soft tires, and he was hunting down Bishop during the entire last lap. Came down to the final straight, the final corner, and here's what happened.
At that point, I was like, uh-oh. But then when we got to the kink, he started to bump into me. And I was like, oh, okay. I'm not going to give this one in. I was just going to have a go. I just braked as late as I possibly could, as late as I possibly knew I could. And then on the stream, it looked like we'd hit, but from talking to the other people, I understand that we actually made no contact. I didn't feel anything, so I was quite surprised. That's why I could see him gesticulating somewhat. I feel like if we had have touched, I'd have probably gone off as well. But if it was, I don't know. I was on the inside. I tried to give him room on the exit too. If he had been able to stay on the outside with how his tyres were, then he was going to beat me out of that corner, because I wanted to give him at least a tiny bit of room. But then, yeah, the way it played out obviously worked out quite well for myself and Toyota.
The contact was investigated by the stewards after the race, and it was deemed a racing incident. Of course, Cody Lukovsky had a different opinion on that, and here's what he had to say when I spoke to him after the race.
The fact that it's a racing incident is kind of it doesn't make sense to me, because yesterday we had a look at the replay, and it clearly shows from cockpit view of the Toyota that I've already going on the outside. The Toyota just doesn't have the grip at all and just forces me off wide. And that to be a racing incident is like, it really makes you start to wonder what is not a racing incident. Like, a really good event for the stewards, for F5, for Gran Turismo in general, and the players as well, including me, to learn from. And when it comes time for the finals, everything to be in the right place.
So this is obviously an incident that's going to be spoken about for a long time to come. The stewarding was a hot topic throughout the weekend, and we have a full article on the subject on GT Planet, which I will link to in the description if you want to read more on that. But at the end of the day, Toyota stood on top of the podium, thanks to some very strong drives by all of their team members. Now it's on to the Nations Cup, which brought even more controversy to the stage. The semifinals and repechage races were quite dramatic on their own and saw the elimination of local favorite Mikel Hazal. And in the grand final, it looked like this was Coque Lopez's race to lose until this happened.
Into these final couple of corners, it's going to be Lopez and Fraga then to the line. Through the left-hander we go, and it's going to be absolutely amazing. What a Nations Cup final we have. Lopez defensive, Fraga tries the long way round, Lakovsky into the back of Lopez. Big drama, and Fraga and Lakovsky go to the line. So close between them, and Fraga through the right-handed kink. Surely he's got this one. Igor Fraga wins the Nations Cup final. Over the line he comes. Fraga is on top. A brilliant race from the Brazilian driver. Lakovsky in second.
The last corner incident, I ran out of fuel because I had to push again not to be overtaken. So yeah, just a shame, but anyway, I'm happy because I know I can be there. It's important for me always to be there, even if I got unlucky with the cars like at Paris or whenever, and try to give my best, and next time will be better, sure.
Of course, once again, Cody Lakovsky finds himself right back in the thick of things. Although Coque Lopez ran out of fuel, Lakovsky did make contact with him there through one of the final corners. He was investigated by the stewards and was issued a penalty, but he was still able to hang on to second place. I spoke with him afterwards, and he definitely has some regrets about what happened in the last few corners.
I knew that Coque was running low on fuel. I just didn't pay attention to it, like I was somewhere else. And yeah, again, I overestimated the hard tires that Igor and Coque were on. I overestimated my tires as well. I just forgot braking points entirely. I really wish I could take it back. I talked to Coque. He's really great. He's coping with it very nicely. But it's heart-wrenching, like, to know that you're responsible for causing such a thing, and like, I don't think this is one of the things I'm going to forget pretty quickly.
The main benefactor of all the drama was Igor Fraga, who was quickly running out of time and corners to take the fight to Coque Lopez.
Yeah, so basically, I saw that Coque was running out of fuel. He was like saving a lot. And there was like a left-hand corner that I was like getting so close, but the dirty air was massive because it was like a very quick 6-gear corner, and I was not able to kind of hold it. And the main straight line, I was kind of a little bit far away. And then I was kind of trying to see the timing, and of course, saving a little bit of fuel to finish at the end and being able to use a little bit more because you never know what's going to happen. And then Cody suddenly appeared. Because I was like just focusing on that. I didn't see what was coming from the back, and I was just seeing on the mirror something like kind of join in. I was like, oh my god. And Cody just passed me on the last corner. It was, I think, a great move. And I was like, what I'm doing here? So I just tried to stay as close as possible because Cody was coming from like with I think newer tire and better tire, I think soft, yeah. And he was like with so much pace. So I tried to kind of stay as close as possible. So if something happens, I could have like any chances at the end. And going after the back straightaway, going to the hairpin. Coque hit the inside wall, so kind of at the exit, he just kind of packed it up, lost a lot of speed just suddenly, and everybody was so tight. So I don't know if there was like a little contact or not, but then Cody lost a little bit of his stability. I was able to pass. And at the end, I think Coque ran out of fuel, and I saw Cody coming again. I was just trying to, not be hit by anyone, and then I had just the right amount to rev it to maximum until the checker flag, and it was just like enough to make it.
And with this victory, Igor Fraga finds himself back on top of the Gran Turismo World Tour.
Yeah, I'm feeling very good. Since Paris, I did that, let's say, dumb mistake. At that time, like it was so busy trying to put everything together on my real life career and coming from like another championships. So it was kind of difficult to, provide time to everything that I needed. And for here, even like doing the real life, I was still able to, focus on like one game on the Gran Turismo, and kind of get back to used to again, and it worked out.
Congratulations to Igor, and congratulations to all of the guys who qualified for this event. Despite the drama, the Nurburgring 24 Hours is one of the coolest things that you can do if you're a fan of cars racing, which made this whole thing really, really special. The after party in particular was unlike anything I've ever seen. We had Lenny Ibazar on the music, we had food, we had drinks, we had this amazing location right next to the exit of the mini carousel. The sun was setting, the cars were racing by, there were fireworks. I mean, just wow. How can you not have a good time at that? The next Gran Turismo World Tour event takes place in New York City, August 24th and 25th.